प्रकृति क्रियमाणानि गुणे कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढात्मा कर्तारम् इति मन्यते. So today we shall be discussing Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 and verse number is 27. This is a very important verse of Bhagavad Gita as it reveals a great secret about the kind of mistake we do while performing our action. The meaning of the verse is, the spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the three modes of material nature. Now here is a great secret, that we human beings consider whatever things happens in our life, whatever we do, we achieve, that I am the doer, I am the achiever, and we feel very proud in it. But in truth, everything is performed by the nature, by the modes of nature. There are three energies, you see, in nature. First of all, the first is mode of goodness, which does all good things, pure things, things related with peace and compassion, freshness, purity, truth, happiness. This is mode of goodness, brings happiness in life. Second is mode of passion, which is anxiety, competition, longing, passion. So these kind of activities. And then there is mode of ignorance, which is foolishness, laziness, bewilderment, sleep, fight. So this is mode of ignorance. So whatever mode we allow to enter in our life, in our body, in our thinking, that kind of activities are performed through this body. Similarly, if we support the mode of goodness, then goodness acts will be done by our body. If we support mode of passion, then it will execute passionate things. And if we inculcate mode of ignorance, then the dark activities will be executed by our personality. That's why Lord Jesus said, you should hate the sin and not the sinner. Because that sinner is not actually the sinner, because that living entity is part of God. So all living entities, being part of God, are eternally pure. And this execution of activities, whether good or bad, is performed by three modes of material nature. But we identify ourselves with the modes to such an extent that we cannot distinguish between us and the modes. Why we cannot distinguish? Because we are so attached with the body, and the bodily influence is so powerful that it covers the spirit, soul completely. Only by performing the process of devotional service to Krishna, this covering gets loosened. And then we can see ourselves as a beautiful part and parcel of Krishna, as a servant of Krishna. Then we can see. And that position of seeing ourselves is basically enlightenment. Enlightenment is what? To know the truth, to know that I am soul, to know that Krishna is super soul, to know that we have a loving relationship which exists for eternity. So, many times in this society, some people get a chance to achieve uh, bigger things in life, accumulate lots of wealth, accumulates lots of power, lots of followers, and somehow they feel a sense of pride in it, that yes, we are the achiever of something, we are the doer. Who is God? Who is the nature? We are the doer. So this thinking actually covers the spiritual knowledge. This thinking destroys the pure relationship between human beings, between countries, between societies, between families. So I'm great, you're not great. I'm successful, you're not successful. So this is the act of ignorance of the self. This is the act of ahankar. This is the act of pride. This is the act of false ego. So this false ego torments the spiritual life. And opposite to false ego is a real ego. And what is real ego? I am Krishna's. I am Krishna's servant. Lord Chaitanya says, I am not Krishna's servant. I am servant of Krishna's servant and his servant and his servant. Gopir bhartu pad kamalyo das dasanusan. So I am servant. This thinking that I am a servant seems very inferior. How can we be servant? But in truth, all the pleasure and bliss and happiness lies in this concept of being servant and not asking for anything else. Just serve the people, serve the humanity, serve the nature, serve each being, and serve God. That is the real bliss and that is the real happiness which is reserved for a sane and awakened human being. So Krishna is saying here that be careful that you should not be influenced by the thinking of being the doer. Never think yourself to be the doer. You are just a medium through which things are happening, because God is the ultimate controller of the universe. God is the ultimate maintainer and destroyer of the universe, and we all are becomes a medium through which God acts. So it is better to act positively. It is better to act according to the instructions of Krishna. It is better to think the way Krishna is saying to think. So Krishna is saying here, never consider yourself as the doer, because it is only foolish people with ignorance, with false ego, they consider themselves as the doer, and that is the reason they have to suffer the consequences of good and bad actions. But if you do not consider yourself as the doer, then you are free from any bad or good result, and you enjoy the transcendental platform of being soul and the transcendental platform of being servant of Krishna, which is the highest happiness available for a living entity. So we'll stop here today. Hare Krishna.